Alright guys, welcome back. Today we'll be working on a few loading spinners, and as always we'll be using Anime.js to build those, and this is what I based our ideas on, so definitely make sure again to check out the designer on Dribble. These are his ideas for kind of loading spinners, and I took some inspiration from them and built kind of my own versions of them. So this is what the end product will look like. Let's just remove that for a second. We'll be building 3 different spinners. This is the first one, it's rather simple. This is the second one. They're all not all that complicated, but I think they're pretty nice, pretty good looking, and pretty simple to implement as well. So yeah, let's get started and start from scratch. I opened up a new pen here. Let's just give it a name as well, spinners. And let's get started. So first of all, our markup, that's pretty simple. We'll first of all need a wrapper. And inside of it, we'll just have a spinner wrapper. And in there will be 3 lines. So dot moving line, and just 3 times. So that's for the first animation that we'll be working on. Yeah, I think that's fine for now. So let's continue by styling the body. I'm using Sass here as a CSS preprocessor, but you can do the same thing in normal CSS. So let's start off by setting a background color here. Let me just copy that. I think that's a grayish kind of color. Yep, or bluish grayish, yeah. We'll need, there's just some layout stuff. It's actually not that important, but for display purposes, that's probably good. So justify content, center, flex direction. Whoops. Flex direction should be column. And we also need align items, center. And then let's just add some padding here as well to make it look a little neater. All right, and then we can go ahead and style our .wrapper class. Again, set a background color and just copy that and paste. Good. Height will be 400 pixels, width will be 400 as well. And there we go, we have our box going. And then again, to center everything inside of it, we'll simply use this display flex and justify content center and align item center. All right, now we can move on to the actual spinner. So what we need to do is set spinner wrapper to display flex. This is so the lines inside of the spinner wrapper are positioned next to each other, because that's what we want. And then let's see. So moving line, let's just add a comment here. Let's say spinner 1 dot moving line. So for the lines, we'll just set the height to 20 pixels, the width to like 3 pixels. They also need a background color, which will simply be white. And we also need to set margin to, let's say, 3 pixels, so they're separated from each other. And there we go, we have our lines. And we can actually, we just need to add Anime.js here, which we'll use to animate them. Anime.js, there we go, that's the animation library, save. Good. Okay, so now we can start out with our JavaScript. So again, a comment, this is going to be spinner1. And what we'll need to say is, let's see. We will first of all define a Animate timeline. So we'd simply say Animate.timeline, and then we can apply a couple of properties here. First of all, our targets are obviously .moving lines. Then we have easing. We'll use ease out expo. I like that one, it's pretty good. And loop will be set to true for now. Actually, if you have any questions regarding Anime.js or like the syntax or anything like that, you can look up the documentation. The link will be down in the description, and yeah, you can learn basically everything about it right in here. Okay, so loop is set to true, and then we have .add to add our first animation to these elements. So the first one will be a transform, or actually no, the first one will be a scale y from 0 to 1. This way we have them growing from 0 to their proper size. So let's see whether that's working. Scale y, loop true, blah blah blah. Dot moving, there we go. Dot moving line, it should be, not lines. Let's see, yep, that's working already. Now, as you can see, they're animating from the middle of the line out to the ends of the line. That's not what we want. So what we need to do is animate, or actually, first of all, we probably need to set the CSS property transform origin, which kind of describes from where the animation is supposed to start, and we wanted to start at the bottom of the lines. So what we need to say here is transform origin and then 0 100%. Let's see, and there we go. Now the transform origin is set to the bottom of the lines, and they're moving kind of up, growing up from the bottom to the top. That's good. Now what we need to do next is, let's see, add our second animation in here, and say scale y, in this case from 1 to 0. 1 to 0, because we want them to first of all grow and then shrink again. There we go, yeah. So that's working already. Now the last thing we need to change is we also need to animate the transform origin property. With Anime.js you can animate all of the CSS properties, so we're simply taking the transform origin, and obviously we need to adjust the syntax here like that. And what we'll say is transform origin from 100% and 0%. That should be the top as far as I know, to the bottom, which is, whoops, nope, there we go, which is 0% and then 100%. All right, let's see. Yeah, okay. Now we need to copy this. And this is basically what will fix the animation. So now we need to invert these values. So 0, 100 and 100, 0. And now we should get the desired effect. Let's see. No, we are not getting the desired effect. Let's see what's wrong about it. 0, 100, 100, 0, 0, 100, 100, 0. The %. No, this is still not what we want. Let's see. Scale from 0 to 1. Okay, dot moving line, loop true. And transform origin in CSS is set to 0 and 100. What if we remove those? Could that be it? Let's see. Yep, there we go. It's working. Nice. Okay, so I'm not really sure why this is the case, but apparently if we remove the percentages from the zeros, the transform origin is animating properly, and things seem to work out this way. So now we have the lines that kind of expand and then they shrink again and they start appearing from the top again. So that's the kind of spinner animation that I planned for the very first one. Let's move on to the second one. Next one will be simply called dot. So let's just add that class to all of them. The rest can stay the same. The wrapper and the spinner wrapper, that's fine. The only thing we should add is dot wrapper. Should have some margin top to separate them from one another. Okay, let's see. Wait, where are we? There we go. Let's just set that to margin instead of margin top. Yeah, okay. So let's style the dots. Dot, let's see a comment there for spinner, spinner 2, so we don't get too confused. So the dots, simple dot, height 10 with 10 pixels, border radius to a high value, so we have circles there. Background color should simply be white. And finally some margin as well, 5 pixels. Obviously dot, not dots. Again, that mistake. My class names are ridiculous anyways. Border radius. There we go. Okay, so we have 3 dots. And there are 2 of them that we want to animate. The center one will simply stay there, and the outer ones are going to move. This one will go up here, and this one will go down there, and then they will kind of move in a circle. So let's see. We can probably just copy that and say spinner 2. And let's see, so targets. Right, before we move on, we should add a class to that. Dot 1 and dot 3, because we want to target those specifically. So the first one will be dot 1, and it should also have loop set to true. And this is actually a pretty simple animation. The only thing we need here is translate y from minus 20 pixels, and we need to set those. So minus 20 pixels to 20 pixels. And well, that's why we're getting a weird animation. And we need to set translate x as well. And translate x will be, oh, actually, no. This is wrong. So translate y should simply say -20 pixels. And translate x should simply be 20 pixels. So it's moving 20 pixels along the x-axis to the right and -20 pixels along the y-axis, meaning upwards. And that's how we get these kind of this kind of animation that's going to the side. So it's going up and then to the right, and in this case it's kind of making this movement. So that's good and pretty simple. Now the next thing we need is again translate x and y to have it move from this direction to this one. And in this case, translate y should go back to 0 because it's supposed to be on the same height as this one. There we go. It's moving down. And translate x should be doubled to 40 pixels, so it's moving further to the right. And as you can see, it ends up at the same position as the other dot. So that's pretty good. Let's just copy it, change that to .3, and simply invert all of these values. And this is supposed to be 0, and this is supposed to be -40, I think. Let's see. Ta-dum, ta-dum, ta-dum. There we go. All right, so that's working as well. I kind of really like this one because the easing is this sort of bouncy effect, and I think that looks pretty good. All right, so let's go on with the final spinner for today. And this one will be called, let's give it a class, called fading circle. All right, fading circle, fading circle. Okay. Right, so we can close our HTML and let's see whoops. Hello. Okay, comment spinner 3 dot fading circle, and the fading circle will simply be a circle, and we will do that using the border. So width and height will be simply set to 20 pixels, and the border should be 4 pixels solid and white. And then we'll simply set a border radius, and we will let's see whether that's work. Yeah, okay, that's working. And then we will simply set position to absolute, so they stack on top of one another. So we have 3 dots that are at exactly the same position. Okay, so that's that. And now we can again copy that and spinner 3. In this case, this should be fading line, ease out expo is good, loop is good. And concerning the actual animation, we are first of all, let's remove that. We are first of all, well, actually, yes, we can simply copy that and paste it in here because we don't need a timeline. This is all just one animation. So change that to Anime. Fading line, ease out expo is good, loop okay, scale Y, no. We need it to scale from 0 to 1, that's right. And Transform origin, no. Let's see, why is nothing happening yet? Loop true scale. Oh, fading line. It's fading circle. Sorry, guys. Now it should work. There we go. Good. So the next thing we need is opacity. And for the opacity, we need to set some other properties. So we simply do like that. And we say the value should go from 1 to 0, so it fades out. Whoops, this is missing. All right. And the easing for the opacity should be linear and not ease out expo. That would look weird. And the duration, we'll just set that to 800 milliseconds, so it's a little faster than the actual scaling animation itself. Let's see. All right, so it's fading out already. That's looking good. So the last thing we need in order to finish that animation as well is add some nice delay. And this more we'll say is 150 milliseconds times I, and I represents each one of those circles, meaning it increases from 1 to 2 and to 3, and they all have a separate delay, and that's the kind of effect that this creates. I think that looks really nice. It's probably my favorite spinner out of these 3, although this one is also really good. But yeah, but as you can see, it's pretty simple with Anime.js to create these loading spinners. And if you came up with other unique ideas, definitely make sure to share them with me in the comments. And if you have any questions concerning this, also make sure to leave a comment. I'll make sure to answer those. And other than that, I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more such content, and we'll see each other in the next video. Till then, stay safe and goodbye.